Welcome back, Eloise. Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Divya.
Nice so good to be here. Thanks for bringing all these great scrapbooks for us. So many good memories in here, the opening of Coble. What did you find in yours?
I found a bio about Jeannie when she first, how she came from farming and a ranching background to a library background.
It's really great to see you all again. I just enjoy just being here tonight and seeing you and meeting you, Divya, and all of you again.
Jeannie, how long have you been part of the district and what positions have you held?
I've been, before the district was built, I have to tell you the story of how this all began, if I may. My husband and I both did a little substitute teaching at the Deer Trail School. The Deer Trail was the town next to or near our ranch where we ranched. And when we were in the school there, we saw that they just simply did not have very many resources for the young people when they were asked to do studies, essays, and that sort of thing. And so we talked about it at home and decided to go to the commissioners and ask for some help and see if they could get a bookmobile to come out to the Deer Trail area or get some help in some way. And so that started the process. They came up with the idea of doing a library district. At that point, it took two businesses, two major entities to sign on to make a library district. And so the Deer Trail School Board were very happy to sign on because they needed help and wanted help. So the county and the school board were the two entities that started the district. We got a slow start. We had nothing at all at that point. The first year or so, we brought in enough taxes to hire a librarian. In a few years, we were able to buy a old bookmobile from the Denver Library, and we had enough books to stock that bookmobile, so we had service going out into the unincorporated parts of the county. At first up close to the Littleton area, or Aurora and Littleton area, and then out to Deer Trail and to the rural areas. And they were so appreciative of the service. The people in the town as well as the schools, really appreciative of this service. Ann Kelver drove that bookmobile herself for a little while, and then we got enough money to hire a driver so she didn't have to drive the bookmobile. And in time we had money to get other help, so she didn't always have to be out on that bookmobile. And that was the very beginning of the district. And I've been with it ever since. I've been on the boards, the first board for the district, and just have been involved. I was on the board for about 25 years, a member of the board and then board chairman for a while. And I've had other positions after I left that, so I've been with them for quite a while.
So what motivated you to get involved in the library?
I first got involved when my mother started taking me to libraries to get some books for me to get into the habit of reading books. And so then it kind of struck me that, wow, there are actually people that do librarians and volunteering and stuff. So I was like, I kind of want to be a part of this. So that's what motivated me to start volunteering for Arapahoe Library.
I started thinking about being a librarian back in college when there were two jobs available to a young woman in college in 1960. I graduated in 68, so in the late 60s. You could either dish out mashed potatoes in the cafeteria, or you could work in the library. When I moved to Denver, I applied. I did not yet have a master's in library science, so I applied for jobs in a lot of libraries. And I got an offer at the same time at Englewood and at Arapahoe. And Englewood's job was to sit all day and type overdue notices. Type. There was no computers back then to do that sort of thing. And the other was to be a library assistant in a little tiny room in South Glen, one of the Arapahoe Libraries. And I said, oh, that sounds much more interesting. As a library assistant, I will have a lot more fun, and I took that job. So that's what got me here.
You know, I feel our library district is special because of the way we started, perhaps. And Cynthia, you're aware of the rural libraries that we have and how wonderful it is to have some kind of service out in a place like that wouldn't have service unless somebody was interested enough, like the commissioners and like Ann Kelber at the time, a librarian, to find a bookmobile and take it out and get books for the public and the school. And they were so excited about it. And that excitement still stands today. They really appreciate it. So I kind of think that's special about our district.
I think something really special about this library is the different sections, like the children's section especially, because growing up, coming here, I feel like being able to go to a certain place where it's meant for you and it's made for you is something really unique and special about the district.
Probably to go back to what you said, Jeannie. We started and it really was the bookmobile service. I think continuing our outreach efforts. The bookmobile's expanded. We're doing home delivery now. There's books by mail. Our bookmobiles stop at places where people don't necessarily have access to get to a library, one of our lovely library buildings. And to me, that's what continues to make Arapahoe Libraries really special.
The people are what has made Arapahoe special. When I retired, I didn't miss the work at all. After 40 years, I was finished, but I sure miss all of the wonderful people. Divya is a great example. I've just met her tonight, and I love her. She's stepped up to be a volunteer and has the joy of libraries, and the people who have organized this history discussion tonight are wonderful people. It attracts only the best, and some of my lifetime friends were made at the Arapahoe Library, so I think that's, for me, the best part.
I think the most surprising change that I have witnessed here was the renovation of Castlewood Library. When I first came here, it was much different, and the setup was different, the way I viewed the library was different, but after the renovation, it was up to date more, it was like cooler, and I felt like it kind of, it was like, as Jeanne said, it like matched as the times were changing, the library too changed, and I felt like that was the most surprising change for me.
Yes, it has changed in that the services are so expanded. A library, literally, Libris means books, and it used to just be books. And now public libraries are so much more. Story hours are busier than they've ever been. I used to answer that question by saying, I don't think libraries are going to disappear. People are going to continue to have children, and when people have children, they always bring them to the library for story hour. I mean, they just do.
When I first came here, it was books and books and books and books, but now it's so much more than that. Access to different resources, maker spaces, study rooms. It's like, it's so much more than just books and books and books.
Yeah, it really is.
Like to mention the outreach which you have talked about, I think it's wonderful, the outreach that the libraries have. They're doing as much in the community and outside of the library as they are within. I have changed. I live in a independent living community now, and I know how important the books are, and they are getting them from the library, and it's important to them. That's what they've always known and they want, but they can't access them themselves sometimes. So I appreciate the fact that the libraries are helping in that.
My vision is that it will continue to be a welcoming place, a smiling place, a helpful place. A library is a community center now. It's a place to make and do and learn, brings people together. It's changed totally in my career from how it used to be.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Eloise, for your time tonight and spending time at this table here at Castlewood Library to share memories and talk about Arapahoe Libraries.